Did you hear that Darby Allin agreed with me and JR?
I did hear that, yes.
Actually, he didn't say I agree with Jim Cornette, but I agreed with Jim Ross when Jim Ross said what Darby Allin agreed with him on, so that means he agrees with both of us, right?
You know, sometimes you kill him because he does a lot of weird shit, and those promos with him.
He's a weird person.
And those promos are not my cup of tea. But I have to say, when I saw him say, and the exact quote, I have it here, let me pull it up. The exact quote from Darby Allin is, I love Jim Ross and I agree with him. You know, Darby Allin, someone may be saying, oh, he does dives too. He's the one guy we've said from day one, he lays it in. He goes through that rope, it looks like he's trying to wipe someone out. It doesn't look like he's trying to do an acrobatic, look at me, it looks nice and sweet and fancy. He looks like he's trying to hurt someone when he does his dives.
Yes, he doesn't do the fucking pirouette and the spin to the far ropes and the gesticulating and then the swan dive and everybody standing there to catch him. He just launches himself at a motherfucker who's trying to get away from him and blasts him. We've said that, yes. He's probably the one guy that actually should be allowed to do dives in AEW because he does them well. And if he was the only one doing them, it would get him over even more. Whereas all the rest of the goofballs that are doing them, they never going to get over anyway. But yeah, he's got a lot. I would say he's got something, but he's got more than something. Darby Allin has a lot. He's got the unique charisma about him that the young folks like. He is so athletic. He's painfully thin, but gosh, he makes it work. He sells his ass off. He's precise with his shit. He doesn't look reckless or dangerous, except in a working way where you're supposed to. So, and I usually like his matches, and then he jumps off something or puts himself in a bag and falls off a fucking shelf or gets run over by a car. And I think, you dumb shit. But he's got something, and it's good to know he's got a little something in his head, too, that he actually may know how to think about this business a little bit, which is probably why he already gets over better than most of those yahoos. And the only thing we never hear him do is speak, but, maybe we shouldn't rock the boat. If he did speak, we'd probably be upset about it.
And again, Jim Ross's comments weren't specific to just dives. It was the idea that, and it happens all the time, it didn't happen this past week, everyone gets together. And you could tell something's happening on the floor because everyone's just standing around waiting for something. Heel and babyface.
It did happen. It didn't happen this week that the heel and babyfaces got together, but they still had to do the dives, and everybody had to stand there like idiots waiting for the flying knucklehead to fucking land on them.
But anyone, go back and watch Darby's dives. He doesn't do it like that. He flies through those ropes like he's trying to wipe someone out.
And what our friend Dax had something to say about Jim Ross too, didn't he?
He did. Did you see this or you didn't see this?
Well, I didn't see the exact quote, but I heard that he responded.
Imagine not listening to criticism from the men and women who've shaped our profession and paved the road that allows you to make a living today, all because they hurt your feelings.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it. There's a lot of sensitive folk in AEW and all across wrestling right now, where if you tell them they're doing something wrong and it's not the exact way they want to hear it, they get offended. They won't listen even if it's the way they want to hear it. But
well, yeah, that's the thing is at first, a lot of these people, and I don't give a shit because I'm just going to say what I think, but it's not my job to coach them. And a lot of people think, oh, Cornette used to scream at everybody. Well, I've screamed at a lot of people. But so does every basketball coach and every football coach on every sideline that you've ever seen, right? They're screaming because the ball's in motion. The game is in play, whatever the case. I didn't scream at people in wrestling school class with no fans around because there was no sense of urgency unless they had just attempted to paralyze somebody, and then you scream at them anyway. You dumb shit. What do you fucking don't do shit you don't know how to do? But it's obvious that people have been telling these fucking knuckleheads this shit in one form or fashion or another for a long time, and they make a conscious decision not to listen and keep doing the same shit over and over because they and their friends think it's cool. And so then it graduates into yelling or just telling people in public or just mentioning people's names or whatever, because fuck it. How long does it take people to figure something out? The only reason that these nitwits are allowed to go on with this is because the young cucks, as they were called on TV here this past week, and these nitwit and twinkle toes, they're in positions of power, and they can hire or fire or recommend or whatever these guys, and they do the shit too. So that's what they normalize it. And they're not about to, because the Bucks aren't about to come out and say, hey, we wouldn't be shit if we couldn't do all this goofy shit. Nobody else would give a fuck about us. We can't do this right. We have to do this the way we do it to get over. So then they can't tell somebody else not to do it because it doesn't make any sense. Because then they would have to come out and say, well, we only do it because we can't do it right. We wouldn't get over as proper wrestlers. Olivier's so far as up his own ass sniffing his own farts that he's not about to admit that he doesn't know shit from apple butter about wrestling. He's poorly trained. His awkward movements and ridiculous facials and gesticulating are too theatrical, and he's a phony as a football bat. So they all try to act like these guys because a money mark has put them in positions of importance. It's just the wrestling fans that go, the fuck? Look at this fucking clown. And I don't say, I say wrestling fans. I don't say modern wrestling fans or cosplay wrestling fans or all petite wrestling fans, or the people who like the foolishness. They like that kind of thing. There's just not nearly enough of them, as every other company has found out over the past 20 years. But you know what they're going to need, Brian? I'll tell you what they're going to need. A lot of Omax. A lot of the cryo-freeze. A lot of the advanced joint defense. Because, folks, if you've had a hard day of jumping off bridges into rivers, if you've had a hard day of being run over by cars, if you've had a hard day of standing around like a dipshit with your thumb up your ass, waiting to catch some moron that's plummeting from the sky in your direction, well, you must know that it's hard on your body. So, our friends at CryoFreeze, the makers of the insane pain relief roll-on that has been so popular for instantly relieving joint pain, has now come out with an incredible one-a-day supplement called the CryoFreeze Advanced Joint Defense. You take one of these little capsules one a day, and it relieves joint discomfort and soreness in 7 days or less. It's a breakthrough formula that reduces aches and pains from sore muscles, joint overuse, aging. It helps with muscle recovery, improves flexibility, long-term joint health. Folks, if you go right now to Omax, O-M-A-X, health.com, you'll get a limited time offer of 20% off the introductory pricing on the CryoFreeze supplements or any product site-wide through the end of the month. Go to omaxhealth.com and enter the code JCE to get 20% off Omax CryoFreeze Advanced Joint Defense and anything on the whole freaking site. So the next time one of these guys has one of these garbage matches and somebody sticks a garbage can over their head and they jump off the top rope and cross-body 16 people and knock all of their front teeth out, they can just take a bath in this CryoFreeze, take a few advanced joint defense. They'll be fine.
It's a fantastic product. A lot of people who are shoveling snow could probably use it today.
But if you're blowing snow, that's a whole different thing.
Well, still, there's.
Or if you're throwing snow.
That's true.
Your snow didn't get blown, it got thrown.
Right into my face, yeah.
Always better to be blown than thrown, I've heard, but nevertheless.